The Samsung Galaxy S20 Fan Edition is here. So thanks to OnLeaks once more for giving us our very first look at the Galaxy S20 FE. This was known maybe as the S20 Lite, but leakers told us it is actually going to be called the Fan Edition. And as we've seen with the Galaxy Note 20 phones, Samsung flagships are incredibly expensive. Always have been, always will be. But it looks like Samsung is doubling down on this mid or upper mid-range, maybe just a little bit cheaper, affordable flagship phone. And here we have it once more, the S20 Fan Edition. And before we get into that, today's deals, you have an Anker USB wall charger, 20% off on Amazon. Galaxy Buds Live are now available on Amazon, and I actually want to pick some up. The Note 20 Ultra also available on Amazon right now if you want to splash the cash. All of those deals and others will be in the links in the description below. As we can see from the renders, the S20 Fan Edition is going to give us that classic S20 design with some more mid-range type of features. So the first one is with the screen. As you can see, the bezels may be a little bit bigger than the S20. The bottom bezel certainly looks a little bit bigger as well. Just these slightly cheaper ways of doing things to reduce the price. Absolutely no curve whatsoever, as the S20 phones had a very subtle curve this year, but still a curve. This will be a flat display. Cheaper, but many people actually prefer it. According to the leak, a 6.4-inch display on this one, which is bigger than the S20 at 6.2 inches, smaller than the S20 Plus at around 6.5 or 6.7 inches, depending on how you measure it, either to the edge of the screen with the curves or the rectangular face. And here is some absolutely brilliant news. There were lots of rumors initially saying it might have a 120 Hz display. Then there were rumors saying, nope, Samsung aren't going to do it. It's going to be 60 Hertz. Well, according to Ross Young, it is indeed a 120 Hertz panel. And actually his tweet suggesting that they are going to use the S20 screen components, so the AMOLED displays. And that's really great because this is obviously a light version, the Fan Edition, but getting that good 120 Hertz display. And that is a really key spec these days, the refresh rate. And this Fan Edition being cheaper, but having that is a really great option if it comes. This also makes Samsung's move to 60 Hertz in the Galaxy Note 20 even more perplexing. It just doesn't make any sense. I really can't understand what is happening at Samsung, where they have 3 phones in the S20 series at 120 Hertz, the Note 20 Ultra at 120 Hertz, then the Note 20, just a 60 Hertz panel, and then the S20 Fan Edition, which is going to be cheaper than the Note 20 with a 120 Hertz panel. It is just unbelievable. I cannot explain this in any way, but that is what the leaks are saying. Also, in terms of the back design, it looks like we're getting the S20 camera array. According to Ice Universe, that will be the same 12 megapixel main image sensor, but the ultra wide and the 3x telephoto zoom will have some cheaper camera hardware in there. Of course, we won't know what the big difference is really between the actual image quality of them, but certainly cheaper hardware, making the price more relatable for us. The rest of the design is very classic. You have the power button and volume rockers on the right-hand side. Also USB-C and no headphone jack on this one. Certainly not a mid or lower end device. Still a flagship phone, I would suggest. And on that note, yeah, apparently the Snapdragon 865 on this one. We've seen some Geekbench results leaked, and whilst we can't always be absolutely certain, a Snapdragon 865, a 120 Hertz panel on this one, they are some key specs for me for sure. That Geekbench listing also had 6 GB of RAM on there as a base, although I believe there should be an 8 GB version as well. As for the price, and I've said this phone is going to be a cheaper version, according to some reports out of Korea, maybe $750 US dollar equivalent for this one, which, well, for Samsung is cheap for a flagship phone. And I would call this maybe a light flagship phone. You've got the S20, S20 Plus, which are slightly more affordable than the Ultra, but still very high end from Samsung, around that $1,000 mark. The Note 20, even though for me, I think that's a mid-range device at $1,000, This Fan Edition just looks good value. You have a great screen, a great Snapdragon processor, a plastic back, which I don't care about at this price point, everything in the right place, a decent camera system, $750. Of course, I'd like it to be cheaper, around $500 or $600, but to be honest, from Samsung and from these specs, I think that's overall a decent price. That's it for your Samsung news today though. Let me know what you think of the S20 Fan Edition in the comments below. Would you go for that one or one of the other flagship phones from Samsung? That's it for now though. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.